Hello, you beautiful nerds of the world. Torok at your service, and it is time, huh? Thank you. We're just trying to get this one out of the way. Today, we are reacting to the most overhyped matchup in Death Battle modern history. Simone the Digger from Gurren Lagann versus Kyle Rayner, the strongest of the Green Lanterns, nay, the White Lantern. Oh boy. And when I say this, when I say overhyped, I don't mean... Huh? What, no Simone Render? What are you talking about? He's right there. There you go. Jokes aside, when I say overhyped, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it in the literal sense that it is overwhelming how this matchup has been hyped up by pretty much everyone in the Death Battle community, and it's genuinely hard not to hop on this bandwagon. So it kind of pains me to say that I have close to no connection with these characters. I know, I tried so hard, actually, to watch Gurren Lagann. It's an anime that's been on my radar for a while now, and, you know, I thought that, you know, this Death Battle coming out was gonna give me, like, the perfect excuse to binge it. But everywhere I looked, it was geo-restricted, and I am... And despite being somewhat familiar with the DC universe, I didn't even know who Kyle Rayner was before this matchup started being pushed around by the community, so... But despite really wanting to bring the I don't give a fuck juice, I actually really love the story of this matchup from a Death Battle fan perspective. Because apparently, and take this with a grain of salt because I've only heard about this through words of mouth, but this matchup was initially promoted out of spite in a response to Ben 10 versus the original Green Lantern, which was, it was 6 years ago. Like, apparently people just wanted the most OP anime character ever to just wail on poor Hal Jordan. But then, like, this is my theory, but I like to think that the choice for Kyle Rayner specifically came from, was inspired by Sonic vs. Wally West. Because, we had the strongest Flash, how about the strongest Green Lantern, and that's... personally, that's how I started to hear about this matchup more intensively, so for me that tracks. But despite this initial spite, a lot of genuinely good people started to look at this matchup and be like, wait a minute, that's actually kind of cool. It makes sense. It can really go either way, and it has the potential for some crazy cosmic bullshit. And it has a mech that throws universes like they were frisbees? I mean, let him cook, let's go! And with that, what started as a low and spiteful meme was reappropriated by genuinely passionate and awesome and creative people all around the fan base in form of art, of fan trailer, and of course, music. Brendan Yates' most popular commissioned track, Will of the Drill, just... carried this matchup's popularity and just pierced the heaven. Which, if it's the case, it's funnily poetic, because this matchup is all about two characters that are extremely passionate and who possess undominable willpower and that have risen from nothing, from just the cesspool of their existence. One of them has risen to take on Hal Jordan, by the way, just to become something truly extraordinary, and it's hard to not be charmed by it. So yeah, I am, despite not knowing a whole lot about these characters, I am extremely hyped that today is the day. And normally this is the time where I give like a prediction, like who I think is going to win, who I'm rooting for, etc, but like, I don't think I want to do it right now. I don't think I can. From what I understand, their whole thing is that at their best they can push above and beyond their entire cosmology, and they can just break any limits, and they can just do whatever the hell. So I'm not qualified to give any kind of prediction, and from what I picked up of these two, I like both equally in a way. I think Simone is a bit more hype, but like Kyle got me in some moments that I looked up, but like I don't know who to root for. The only smidge of prediction I can give is I can see Simone taking like the raw stats, even with DC's bullshit cosmology. I can see just Simone like being able to evolve beyond like in terms of like raw power. But I can also imagine Kyle being more creative with his ability, especially with the life equation, which I'm 100% convinced that Death Battle's gonna give it to him. Because like, isn't it canon that the life equation is part of Kyle, or like that Kyle is part of the life equation or whatnot? It is tied to him, so I can totally see, like, he can just call it back whenever he wants, really, even if he shared it to other to other members. But honestly, I think all of this is mostly gonna go down to the tiniest flaw. You know, little things like maybe the White Lantern ring or the life equation has been corrupted in the past. Maybe Simone isn't as effective without the Gurren Lagann, so there's there's a loop you can, or like there's an exploit there. Maybe Kyle can just run out of battery. That's a possibility. At this point, I think I learned my lesson that when two characters are just way too powerful for my tiny little brain to process, I just need to focus on the little weaknesses, the little butts that Death Battle mentions here and there. So that's what I'm going to try and do during the run, as I watch the rundown, and I'll see what I can muster in the middle of the video before the fight begins. I still don't know, but right now I don't know. But aside from that, again, I'm just genuinely excited to learn how batshit insane this matchup is, and because I'm not immune. I'm not immune to giants, to giant mechs the size of universes that froze galaxies like they were frisbees. Okay, like so. Without further ado, it is time. No. We went past this, okay? Shut up, and let's flipping go. 3, 2, 1. Are we gonna talk about the website? It's time!
Simone the Digger.
Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity.
He's with
And I'm Boomstick, and it's our job to analyze the weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. That's a little better.
Deep
The intros are getting better.
Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider
it's lagging
world
a little
above
bit.
their squalid cave.
That's where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty. Oh, and his little brother from another mother, Simone. He was there too, I guess.
Simone was a digger, content to drill
Simone
endlessly through
just
the
likes
dirt,
paperwork
until
authority
the day
behind
he
viral.
found the core drill.
Like small
The
stakes,
key that activated the mistake.
Kamina drills, inspired by Captain Harlock. Oh, okay, yeah. I see the resemblance. If it's who I think it is a mangaka in another universe. Occupation, digger, supreme commander, pilot, hermit, and currently a hermit. Okay, he's 21 years old. Cool.
Mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagann. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the Earth for humanity. scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagann merged, creating Gurren Lagann!
With Kamina piloting the body and Simone the head, these two were unstoppable.
Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute coolest.
Not
Fueled by
gonna
its
debate
pilot's
that.
willpower and
Gurren Lagann, height, 12 meters tall, runs on willpower, merges with larger machines, drills, missiles, sunglasses, boomerang, energy blast.
capable of making any weapon they can imagine.
That's not
Including
a lot
missiles,
right now.
jetpack, a sunglasses boomerang, and of course,
Drills!
Yeah.
Mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Buraku! Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something, my whole personality.
Well, I can respect the
Gurren
commitment
Lagann's
to a
awesome
theme, at
power,
least.
Kamina laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome.
Until Kamina died. Oh, wait, shit, was that supposed to happen?
Nope, and it was all Simone's fault. He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After all, he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
So his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was the one looking up to him
knows?
the whole time. It was Simone who found Lagann, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity to victory.
Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and
Aw.
kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attacked.
Unimaginably powerful godlike aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the Spiral Nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity, the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simone would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy.
Alright, let's
Channeling
go.
spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simone can create portals to different realities and higher dimensions. He can generate force fields.
Okay, let's see. Spiral power, exponential. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Sorry, give me a moment. YouTube has been wacky lately. Exponential adaptation, self-repair, force fields, energy absorption, reality warping. There's the Arc Gurren Lagann, city-sized, thunderbolt chariot kick, space-time shattering burst spinning punch, and then the super galaxy Gurren Lagann, moon-sized, full drill eyes, spatio-temporal axis simultaneous shooting. God damn it! What are those names?
Fields absorb energy attacks and even merge
Give me what?
realities and higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the
Nice.
Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimension. All within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light.
New record.
Meaning each
Excuse me. I don't know why it's lagging.
laser would
Let
have
me
to be
let me
moving
rerun that again.
4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light. Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap. the Multiverse Labyrinth, an attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simon and his spiral power are just built different, and after being inspired by his bro, Simon absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself.
Sorry, I need to read the black box. In the drama CD, Otoko no Juken Gurren Lagann, an alternate lore genome seemingly manipulated 20-dimensional space. But this is a translation error and more likely refers to manipulating a twofold dimension.
Even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself. The jump between dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope.
What?
Oh, we're just getting started. Imagine a 2-dimensional drawing interacting with a 3-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far out from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the Multiverse Labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another to the mix.
Wait, if every human being has spiral power...
Wait, so he absorbed the fictional... So he absorbed the fictional Simone. Am I getting this right? So he absorbed the fictional Simone of the same universe that is fictional in the universe of a Simone that already exists. So he had... Okay, complicated. Let's just move on. He's gonna explain everything. It's gonna make all sense.
Adding another to the mix.
Wait, if every human being has spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy. Like, shooting missiles that alter probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees. Sorry, did I say galaxies? I meant universes.
Simon's power was so immense that he...
Gurren Lagann makes multiple references to brain theory and higher dimensional concepts that are consistent with Sorry, excuse me, I'm adjusting the mic. And higher dimensional concepts that are consistent with offer statements, asserting these galaxies are in fact universes.
He started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simon turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Okay, so he can just will the mech back to existence. That's important to take into consideration. Despite their higher dimensional nature, an interview confirms these constructs, including Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, could manifest in the 3-dimensional real world.
Damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Wait, he can repair damages as well?
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Okay.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, whiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simon evolved one more time.
into
Super
Tengen
Tengen
Toppa
Toppa
Gurren
Gurren Lagann.
Lagann!
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simon and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
Hey, cruel indifference of the universe! Meet the indomitable human spirit!
Proving
Let's
commonest
fucking
words
go.
prophetic.
Okay, that was a lot to process in me. Became the Simone that believed in him, pulled the moon back into orbit, struck all of space-time at once, absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, withstood the infinity Big Bang storm, shattered a drill trillions of light years long, defeated viral 4 supreme generals, Lord Genome, and the anti-spiral.
Universe, meet the indomitable human spirit!
Proving commonest words prophetic, that Simon's drill is the drill that would pierce the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simon chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up, for all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks to a humble digger.
Jesus Christ. Bro, we haven't even been halfway through the presentations, and I feel like I need a break.
The universe
What
is
is
a
happening
dangerous
with
place. Should you find
Alright,
yourself
on
face
to
to
Kyle
face with
Rayner.
an interdimensional vampire,
Sorry.
alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat,
Hey,
you know who to
Dexter!
The Green Lantern Corps!
Man,
The
Dexter has
Space
a reason
Fuzz,
to be angry.
An intergalactic police force founded
He has a
billions of
reason
years
to be
ago by
fucking
blue
pissed
leprechaun
off.
gods.
and the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know
Hey!
him. You love him. You might hate him. But you
Come on,
gotta
it wasn't
respect
your
a man
fault.
with a will as unbreakable as Hal.
Actually, never
Until
mind,
the
it totally
day
was
his
your fault,
will.
but like, it wasn't Hal's fault.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He
Like,
rampaged
how much
through
of a
the core,
low life
killing
do you have to
everyone in
hate
his
a
path,
character
and
because they
absorbed
won
the
a
central
deathmatch?
power battery. The
Like, it's not even their
literal
fault.
Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
There was only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human.
What a way
Kyle
to
Rayner.
What a way to
So,
make a
was Kyle picked for
Gambit,
his
am I right?
indomitable willpower like Hal would?
Kyle Rayner, age 30, occupations, comic artist, Green Lantern, aka Ion, he's been Parallax, Torchbearer, likes Superman, Asian movies, Gamera. Oh, you could have mentioned that he likes Gurren Lagann. That's been like the one fun fact about this whole matchup during this waiting period. Dislikes DC editorial. Oh, you're not the only one, buddy. Jaws, love triangles. Actually, DC editorial is very funny when you consider that he hasn't been used in decades, apparently. Enemy of Heat. I don't know what this is.
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient box can master it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
Yeah.
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating? Well,
Jesus Christ. Green Lantern. Protective aura. Constructs. Flight. Galactic database. Artificial intelligence. Invisibility. Intangibility. Time manipulation. Time travel. Age manipulation. Matter manipulation. Gravity manipulation. Mind reading. Reality warping. Constructs, energy blasts, shields, exoskeletons, melee weapons, projectile weapons, vehicles, animals, mythical creatures, mecha, and resistances to poison, entropy, antimatter, and reality warping. Resists entropy. That reminds me of some gal.
consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. and the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like the time that Poozer Kilowog survived being erased from existence by the Crisis on Infinite Earth.
The Green Lantern chip, that's the squirrel, stated his ring protected him from the effects of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Dr. Ubix also survived the Crisis by using the Sucker Stick, an analog to the Green Lantern ring.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched, probably because he's a comic book artist, and we know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most recognizable
Yeah, they
ability is
do.
their constructs. Kyle's speciality.
They fucking
Samurai
do.
armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots.
Let's go.
Hey, that one looks familiar.
To
Hey!
make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait, 0.3? DC's multiverse has
Okay, so 12 in the
12.3
first.
dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that it's limited to 24 hours before needing a recharge.
Yeah, there it is. Man, this preview so far, Cal's preview so far reminds me of Superman's preview, which has me worried. You know, they throw a lot of crazy stuff at the beginning of his analysis. Like, that's crazy. After relinquishing the power of Ion, Kyle modified his Green Lantern ring to have an emergency reserve of backup power. It will never fully run out, even if it cannot maintain a 100% charge. Okay, so they both have means to never actually run out, in a way.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Oh!
Wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Stuffed into the fridge?
Traumatized.
Wait.
This moment
Stuffed into the fridge when a loved one is hurt, killed, maimed, assaulted, or otherwise traumatized in order to motivate another character move their plot forward. The term sometimes referred as fridging. It was popularized by comic book writer Gail Simone through her website Women in Refrigerators. On that site, Simone compiled a list of instances of female comic book characters who were killed off as a plot device. It is named for a storyline in Green Lantern: A New Dawn, in which the stuffed into a refrigerator for him to find. Jesus Christ! Okay, bro's wife created a plot device. Great.
was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
This is where it
There
gets
are 7
crazy.
colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm, which Sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Yeah.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space, connecting him to others.
The final one was the sapphire light of love. With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern
There it
with
is.
total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other Lantern in existence.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse.
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Okay, so it's not totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited
Kyle has held his own against Parallax as a Green Lantern, and Parallax has fought Time Trapper, Spectre, and Anti-Monitor while possessing Hal. This substantiates the White Lantern as being equal or superior to Anti-Monitor.
Anti-Monitor.
Okay,
Anti-Monitor,
so it's
sorry.
not totally useless.
Hey,
Especially
Steven.
after Kyle visited the Source and acquired the Life Equation. Essentially
There
the
it is.
source code to reality, the Life Equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The Life Equation, like its counterpart, the Anti-Life Equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the Life Equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And together, they shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
Damn, that got me. Okay. I feel like I need to rewatch this a bit. I feel like I need to rewatch this a little bit. So give me just the run. I need to rewatch the rundown. I'll give it a second. Excuse me. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia?
Yeah.
No? Well, that's
I do.
because it was taken off YouTube for being too
There's the
anime.
website.
But we've got a solution. It's our own website. That's www.deathbattle.gg. It's like our
Hey.
own private Patreon, with a store for death metal merch and a complete death metal video archive. It's got episodes that YouTube has banned, blocked, and censored, and there's even more goodies on the way. So check out deathbattle.gg.
Welcome back,
live right now.
motherfucker! Alright. So, I took some notes. I don't know if you can even see it there. I'm not gonna be able to decipher all this. So Simone's multiverse is like... Simone's multiverse is basically, there's 11 dimension, and Kyle is 12.3, which we haven't explained how that works. However, they also talked about how Simone also absorbed the spiral energy of a fictional within one of those dimensions. So it creates. Does it add to the dimension? Because then they would be all free. Both of them would be roughly equal. They would be like they would both be 12-dimensional something. So they would be maybe I don't know. The main problem for me is what I think like equalizes them again is Kyle at his most powerful as having the life equation and having the full White Lantern power. He can't exactly keep that power in check. He can't exactly control that power very well. So that's why he had to split it. This is the kind of weakness I wanted to learn about. So yeah, but the 12.3 was also it was when he was a Green Lantern. Maybe as a White Lantern he might scale higher than this. But like there still is the problem that there's the problem that he can't maintain that power for long, There's something that interested me in this whole multiversal scaling dimension whatever. Something that actually caught my attention. So Simone managed to absorb all the Simone in a multiverse into like a separate multiverse. So there's multiple multiverses. That's fine. Hal Jordan managed to absorb all lantern batteries in the multiverse, right? Given that each power battery is again, Kyle proved that he could hold the entire multiverse with his own ring, so with the green power battery. So that means that each lantern battery in one universe equals one multiverse. So that means we have I'm gonna go in depth. I don't give a shit. So that means we have 7 times multiversal power for one universe. So it's like 7 times infinity multiplied by the infinity of the multiverse. Where do you see where I'm going with this? No? That's fine. So basically what I'm trying to say is Simone only absorbed one multiverse. Kyle could rival an infinity of multiverses. But then again, Simone only absorbed a multiverse, but then he could fight another multiverse. Maybe that adds. Well, maybe that's what. That's what those 11 dimensional and 12 dimensional are there for. But only Kyle has shown to be above all that because Simone has absorbed the power of a real life Simone who was a mangaka, but that was still within his reality when Kyle at his peak, which he can't contain, can go more real than ours. So that's a bit above reality. Okay. I'm gonna go fucking nuts. Anyway, the power. Maybe I'm on to something, but I want to give the power to Kyle. Unlike what I said, despite what I said at the beginning, considering that this level of power, he can't exactly maintain it. That would maybe nerf him, while Simone could maybe get a chance, maybe get higher. Maybe you know what? Maybe they're on par. Speed, I have to give it to Simone. They are both incalculable, but Simone has abilities that could alter probability and giving like a 100% guarantee that across all timeline that his missiles will hit. So I don't know what Kyle can do. In another way, maybe they didn't necessarily mention it in the Kyle Rayner's analysis, but in the list of abilities I've seen in resistances, they have resistances to entropy, which is which is basically, from what I understand, the unescapable I want to say unescapable death, the unescapable end of life, you know? So, and this reminds me a lot of Simone's girlfriend, who could do that, who could basically regenerate from her own guaranteed destruction, her own entropy, one might say. So, they seem to be both, again, they seem to be both absolutely unkillable. But I think this is, again, this is like in the most minute detail. And I have to give the weaknesses, or at least like who would lose a war of attrition. It would have to be Kyle. Again, he can't be at his best for too long, or otherwise he just becomes insane. He creates oblivion and whatnot. And there's also a thing with the power battery being able to run out, not necessarily run out, because I've seen the black boxes that he'll never run out like entirely, but that means that it isn't always running at 100%. So there's a chance that there might be a chance that Kyle could falter. You know what I mean? Again, it's in the minute detail, but I feel like Kyle has just many flaws, but he also has intense qualities. Simone seems more consistent. Plus, yes, this is what I wanted to go about, like, always running at 100%. His ring isn't going to run at 100%, while Simone is able to just will his mech back to existence, will all his pyro power just back to existence. And I think this can be one fucking hell of a war of attrition. But I think Simone is more consistent with his power. He is more consistent with his ability to just keep on going. I feel like Kyle is a bit more, again, more powerful, more versatile. But he also has more weaknesses that I feel like Simone could eventually exploit. Mixed with the fact that Simone might still be able to dodge some of Kyle's attacks, while Kyle, I don't think he can. So this, to me, Simone has like some big advantages in this. So I give the speed to Simone. I give their power roughly even. Kyle could definitely get a boost. He could get a boost, but he can't keep it for too long, so that's why I'm keeping them relatively equal-ish. But there's the possibility that Kyle is stronger anyway. Yeah, you know what? Power to Kyle, never mind. So, speed to Simone, power to Kyle, survivability or like endurance to Simone, and I give the weaknesses to Simone, or like Simone has less weaknesses that Kyle could exploit compared to Kyle having like tons of weaknesses. I want to give it to Simone. I want to give it to Simone the Digger. Yep. I'm probably wrong. There's probably a ton of stuff I missed that I didn't get. I give the Kyle versatility, power to Kyle, speed to Simone, survivability to Simone, and exploitable weaknesses, or like exploiting weaknesses to Simone. That sounds like 5 points. That sounds like 3 points more than 2. I like the fucking. We're gonna. My final verdict is gonna be Simone the Digger. That's a hell of a bet. Usually, when in doubt, go DC. DC bullshit goes Burr. But I want to believe that Simone is more consistent with his power, with his full power, and can just keep the fight going longer than Kyle. I'm gonna regret this. My final verdict is Simone the Digger. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right, the combatants
Are
are
set.
set, and we've run the data
For all possibilities, it's time for a death battle! Oh boy! Yep. Boomerang.
Alright, I'm not rusty at all.
Nice catch!
Hey dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
Fight! Yo!
I'm bad with a
The Dragon Ball guy. Ooh! Ooh!
Tell me about it. 4!
Bah! Ah! In brightest day, darkest still! Alright, in space!
That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens!
Ah! Spiral power! Activate!
Turn your topa Gurren Lagann!
It's time! A Superman, let's go!
Really cool.
Ah!
I'm a digger.
We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable!
Break the unbreakable.
Ooh!
If you ain't know,
Now you know! Oh! Get over here! Oh, that's cool. Oh, the source wall!
I'm Simone the Digger. If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down!
Ooh! Uh-oh, life equation!
Stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future.
That's not gonna work.
Choose life.
Have faith in the Simone.
That believes in you! In the sky! Terra! Leave another world behind, motherfucker!
Drill is the drill that will transcend the heavens! Giga Drill Free!
It's time for the drill! Tons of drills! Come on! Come on, Simone! Stay as stuck is still. Infinity is broken!
the super weapon wasn't your mech.
It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day,
Ooh!
blackest night.
Ooh!
No evil shall
Ooh.
escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's
Might! Beware my power! Green Lantern's light! Come on! Come on, Simone! Ooh! Pokey finger! Ooh!
You'd make a good lantern.
Oh, the music from a...
Simone of Earth, you have been chosen.
Yo!
Who the hell do you think I am?
Let's fucking go!
These sunglasses.
When both combatants possess
Suddenly,
unlimited power, it's
suddenly
hard to judge
Ringmaster,
them
I
by-
guess.
These sunglasses.
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
Let's go!
Imagination! The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles.
Kyle struggled to erase Aberration, who destabilized the natural laws of a universe after a long enough time. In comparison, the anti-spiral had complete control over the laws of countless universes and could erase fundamental concepts, yet could not erase Nia from existence.
But it's likely Kyle could adapt, considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal,
Yeah.
which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the
Oh.
other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiversal scale with their willpower.
I guess Kyle would have less willpower because he can't run. He can't run with the life equation. Simone's reality warping could evolve to counter a hypothetical source wall imprisonment. In a similar manner to the multiversal labyrinth, several DC characters with similar abilities like Spectre, Superman, and Barry Allen have escaped the source wall in the past.
But we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions.
Oh,
That's
it was
1.3
just this-
dimensions less than the multiverse.
Okay, it
Kyle.
was just this dimension, this multiverse.
11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level. However,
Yep.
that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was about to. Yeah, that's about what I called the recharge, running low on battery. The anti-spiral has regeneration comparable to spiral power users, but Simone overcame them. He can do the same against Kyle's healing and resurrection abilities, including those that work on a non-corporeal level.
Especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
Yeah.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation.
All right.
It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing
Yeah.
him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality and himself.
Kyle kept the life equation in the what-if scenario, New Guardian's Future's End. In it, he is corrupted and ultimately destroyed himself. The canon Kyle saw this potential future, hence why he relinquished the equation. This book also established those with high willpower are resistant to the life equation's effects, such as Saisoren.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway?
Yeah.
That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle may have embodied life itself, but Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
Okay, let me see the ending. Well, let me see the results. Simone had greater rate of adaptation, superior regeneration. Yeah, I kind of called that. Resist the emotional spectrum, countered each other's abilities. Weaker initially. Kyle, stronger at base, more creative use of his ring. Countered each other's abilities. Far weaker eventually, limited battery charge. God, that is so close.
Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Yo, this fight was insane. Oh, God, I don't have words. I have no words. I'm sorry. I can't describe what happened. Despite saying this was awesome, I can't describe what happened. I love that Kyle made like a Superman made of a universe with like a sword and shield with like the multiple drills with the separate colors of the emotional spectrum. The fight at the end when they go like hand to hand, which I know it's a reference to the end, the final battle in Gurren Lagann and stuff, and with like the drill as a ring piercing the actual ring. Wow, that was so cool. It felt real inspiring. There's a ton of moments where it really kept me on my seat. You know, I was about. So many times I was ready for one or the other to just turn the tide instantly in the fight. So because of the dialogues mostly, the introduction fights at the beginning was kind of the introduction fight when Kyle is still a Green Lantern on the planets. It was kind of funny. It was like cute, funny little pop culture references and such. I'm glad this didn't take too long. I'm glad this didn't take too much of the fight. Then it immediately went to the things that we wanted to see, which was the insane cosmic bullshit and the sheer magnitude of how this fight can go. And wow. Wow. Kyle's death was really humble. Simone being chosen to be a Green Lantern, and then he's like, nah, fam. Nah, I'd win. that was badass, actually. I need to rewatch this fight again. I need to rewatch this fight plenty of time to really appreciate it, but it is... So far, it is a contender for best fight of the year? I'm counting the year, like not since the new era, because like Bowser vs. Eggman still tops that, but in my heart at least. But yeah, that was pretty raw. I'm sorry, I don't have like the exact word to describe like how insane this fight was, but oh boy. That was great. You know what I can do, actually? I can watch the next time. It's probably gonna be like a Kickstarter matchup. And watch as I say this, you know, every time I'm like, come on, make a new matchup that we don't expect. And then it's a Kickstarter matchup. And then I say, watch as it's gonna be a Kickstarter matchup. And it's gonna be something completely new. 3, 2, 1, go. I said go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Next time
On Death Battle! Champions!
Subscribe
It's
and join the
time!
channel to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
It is ready! Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcats! Oh boy. Finally! It's finally coming, guys! It is finally coming! Let's fucking go! Oh. It's finally coming! I'm lacking the word. I'm lacking the words for this, I'm sorry. Oh boy. Oh boy, Wile E. Sorry, I'm still stuck on the Simon Kyle fight. Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcats. It's cool. It's not necessarily the matchup I personally voted in the Tournament of Champion, but finally it's happening. Rooster Teeth. Fuck you, David Zaslav. Fuck you, David Zaslav. In your fucking face. You thought you could destroy Coyote's heritage? No! We'll handle it ourselves! Oh god. We'll handle it ourselves. I'm genuinely excited for next time. God, I wish I had more. I'm sorry, I wish I had more to say. Maybe like I'll be able to process it better with time. And I'll be able to say something. I'll be able to say something. I'll be able to say something next month about the Wile E. Coyote, but yeah, pretty excited. I'm sorry. That was great. Is all you needed to know. That was great. That was overwhelming a bit, but our GOAT Gurren Lagann win. So congrats. We took down one lantern. Yeah, no, I think I need to wrap this up. So thank you so much for watching this reaction. If you want, let me know what you thought of this death battle. I tend to, if you saw the cool fan arts that I used for the thumbnail of this video, I tend to draw these lives, so if you want to check them, if I ever do a thumbnail, if I do a Let's Draw stream of Coyote versus Tom, you can always subscribe to be informed when this happens. And with that being said, that's pretty much it. And that was Torak at your service, and I'll see you next time.